Hey, what's up guys? My name is Boda and welcome back to the Mining Sector YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be for the 7 of you who are still into Helium. We're going to talk about the effects of HIP 113. We're going to talk about why it didn't meet the exact expectations that we would have liked. I'm going to talk about what's causing it, as well as just overall updates on Helium Mobile, because there has been quite a few new things, so we'll just keep updated, right? So if that sounds good, guys, stay tuned. Let's get to this thing. So in case any of you guys forgot, HIP 113 was going to be the HIP that was essentially going to begin funneling a lot of the rewards from the CBRS radios over to the mobile Wi-Fi units, so those indoor-outdoor Wi-Fi units, mainly because of the fact that what's growing the network currently is just those units. Okay, so we can get into that big old debate, but we're not going to talk about that. We're just focus on this thing. So the initial estimate was that potentially we can get a 130% increase, but kind of like we had talked about in that other video regarding this topic, by the time this thing takes effect, chances are it wasn't going to be anywhere near there. Okay, so there are a couple of factors. One of the biggest ones being is just the amount of units that have come online since then. So very similar to like with crypto mining in general, if you know like the hash rate and difficulty, as more units come online, your slice of the pie is just going to get smaller. We are all sharing from that same rewards pool. So again, as more of these units come online, we're just going to get less and less. Okay, very similar to like with crypto mining and such. Okay, and that was totally expected. Okay, so at the time when this proposal was made, there was only about 7,000 of the Wi-Fi units. Currently, we are nearing 11,000 units. Okay, so that's about a 50% increase. So that's a big part of the reason why. Okay, so that's one reason. Another reason is that they did add more boosted locations. So part of the rewards from the POC pool do go to these things. Okay, so that is another reason why. So as they add more boosted locations, it's going to decrease some of that as well. But as some of the others expire, it's going to kind of shift. So we'll see how it kind of transitions from there. But this is another big reason. So one thing they are trying to pass now to kind of help out with this aspect is HIP 122. So there is a new HIP in place. It's not up for vote yet or anything. It's currently in its early stages. But essentially, it's going to try to limit the amount of rewards provided to those guys that come out of the POC bucket. Okay, so that's one big thing. Another big aspect is that it'll reduce the time from 6 months of being boosted down to 3 months. Okay, so currently, for example, the purpose of the boost is to try to concentrate that location, to try to target it, get coverage in those areas. So if they're able to get it within those first 2 to 3 months, this way they don't have to continue essentially like kind of paying for nothing in a way, right? That way they can go to the next location and next location, etc., etc. Okay. Another big one that could potentially help is limit the boosting to a maximum of 10x. Currently, there are freaking locations in Miami in that initial rollout area that had 100x locations. Okay, so it does seem like now, even before this thing passes, because as we go through the different ones that are newly added in LA and NYC, the max is essentially like 10. So most of them are either 10 or 5x. Okay, so we can kind of see that one already playing out, just because again the 100x one was extremely generous. Okay, so with these boosted locations, make sure you also understand that it doesn't mean you're getting 10x the amount of tokens. Okay, it's an increase in your amount of coverage points, which does equate to that eventually, but it's not a one-to-one translation. Okay, so yes, you will get more, but it doesn't mean you're going to get 10x more, 5x more. So just make sure you understand that concept also. Okay, so we can see here, this is the LA area that just got hit. So one kind of new thing that they added is that it is slightly different now, right? So you can see that there are pink and purple ones. So the purple ones are ones that are active now. So as you click on it, you can get up to a 5x with these. And the pink ones are ones that are planned. So they're not live yet, but most likely going to go live. Okay. So if you're in the LA area, the NYC area, you may want to check it out just because there is good incentive now. As you zoom out, you can see the other location. You can actually see the Mexico locations down here, but you can also see the NYC area. So you can see if maybe you're in an area, if you know somebody somewhere, or if you know somebody who owns a restaurant, a shop, a bodega, anything of that sort. May want to hit them up, right? Might be pretty lucrative. Okay, so something pretty cool there. As far as my actual earnings go, let's take a quick look so we can see. So this is going to be for my bigger unit, right? I do have three. I have two outdoors and one indoor. This is for the main earner here. You can see on May 9th, it was earning about 1,941. On May 10th, once it took effect, it was about a 60% increase initially, right? Which actually was pretty good. 3,092, but you can see how it's literally trickled down pretty aggressively, right? So not even 2 weeks later, it's down to about 2,300. So again, a lot of this is just the amount of units coming online, these boosted locations, these things will affect it, okay? And it's not something that's out of the ordinary. Kind of what we mentioned in that other video was that potentially it could be down to where I was at that time, and ironically, oddly enough, I am pretty much making almost exactly the same amount of tokens as I was when I did that video initially, right? So although that does sound crappy, it's like, oh man, well, did it make it did make a difference, because if it wasn't for this, again, it would be down way worse. I would be down probably well under 1,000 for this unit. Okay, so if it wasn't for this thing, it'd be way lower, and again, it's just going to continue to trickle down, just because again, more units are going to continue to come online. That's just the name of the game. The earlier you are to these projects, any of these depend things, it's just your share of the pie is bigger early on. As more units come online, it's just going to go down. That's the name of the game. As far as how much it's earning in terms of like fiat value, it is down pretty significantly, and it's just because the mobile token itself has gone down, right? So if we put it in down here, it's currently making about 3,700 mobile, which is about $7 a day. Okay, which again, overall doesn't sound too great. But in my opinion, I am perfectly happy with that. Again, that's all profit. These units paid themselves off a couple times over, actually, and it's just continuing to bring in revenue. Okay, so I know it's not super great sounding, but again, we are in the bear market. This is a coin that has a lot of potential still. It is still a small market cap coin. It has a ton of room to grow. Okay. To what extent, we don't really know, but it does, again, have a lot of potential here, right? Between this token, the Helium token itself, a lot of room there. So when we compare it to like typical mining, just for reference, for you guys who aren't like GPU or ASIC miners, the most common GPU, so graphics card for crypto mining, is a 3070. So just for reference, to create the same amount of profit would take about 16 freaking cards to get in that range of about $657 a day profit. Okay. In terms of ASIC miners, again, same thing. You'd have to have a unit that's in the realm of anywhere from like $3,000 to $5,000. And on top of the cost of the units, guys, you're paying a ton in electric. Okay. For those 3 Wi-Fi units, it's maybe a whopping like 30 watts a day, which is essentially nothing, right? So very happy overall. We'll see where it keeps going from here, but overall, I'm pleased with it. It is outperforming a lot of my other things, and again, this is bear market stuff. So depending on what you think that token can do, still a lot of potential upside, and at this point, you don't really have to sell to cover your electric. You can literally just hodl these things, because again, there's no real cost aside from that initial cost of getting the equipment. Okay. So now let's go over some updates, see what has been going on. So one that was interesting, a tweet came out today. It looks like they are finally getting close to releasing more info here. So it's about their Secure AF, which is a groundbreaking cryptographic solution to safeguard your phone against SIM swap threats. This is going to be a huge selling point if this happens. Like, I want to kind of see the extent of it. Very, very interesting, because again, this is a very big thing that does happen. I know a lot of them have been primarily on like T-Mobile, which is one of my service providers. So this to me overall, as far as like securing your phone, your contacts, your applications on your phone, because a lot of us do have a lot of our financial applications on top of crypto apps, which I try not to keep much crypto on the exchanges or on the apps, but there is some there. So there is always that threat, right? So this is something that is extremely interesting, just because hacks will only get more aggressive as time goes on, especially with like everything with AI, all these other things. It's only gonna get worse and worse as time goes on. Okay. So that's something that is pretty interesting. We'll see how this kind of plays out, because this is something they mentioned a few months ago, but there hasn't been much info since then. But the fact that they're tweeting about it now and it brings you to a site to put in your email does seem like it is probably getting pretty close. Okay. Another big thing is they did release a Q1 protocol report, just kind of giving overall updates on the Helium network as a whole on IoT and mobile. Kind of the standout for me is just the amount of mobile subscribers. Okay, this was to me is one big standout. They are nearing 100,000. They're like at 90,000 right now. Just pretty freaking big, right? That's pretty cool to see the growth there. Pretty cool to see what's happening. Okay, so those have been the biggest things that have gone on since then. Again, the big news was these boosted locations. We'll see if they continue to add more currently. Kind of hard to see where things are going. It's one of those things that's just constantly changing, right? And that's kind of what we said was going to happen, is that this change is going to kind of be the norm, especially as other providers come up. So we've heard of like XNet, World Mobile Token or Carrier, whatever. There's quite a few others that are coming up. So we'll see what kind of news they bring, what innovation they bring, because again, we want that competition because it only makes things better, right? It's going to make us better, going to make them better, and just grow the whole space, right? So it is pretty interesting times. A lot of growth going on, a lot of changes going on. It's something you got to keep up with. You just kind of see what's going and why certain things are causing what, because it's, I'm not going to lie, it's hard to keep up with a lot of this stuff. You really have to be up to date on the Discord. Just kind of see what's going on, where the sentiment is, and going from there, right? So another big thing we mentioned in the other video, they still haven't mentioned, so I'm waiting till it gets finalized. But as far as like adding more offload partners, so like at&t is one that's rumored. They had a thing with Google as well. So as those things come out, very bullish for the growth there. Hopefully we continue to get more subscribers. The network just continues to grow, which so far it is continuing to grow, right? We can just see here in the past 7 days, 175 more units have come online. And this is what we want to see. I know sometimes it sucks seeing the rewards keep going down, but at the end of the day, we're here to grow this network. Okay, so at the end of the day, that's what's going to bring, hopefully, price appreciation, and we can go from there, right? So let me know, guys, how your guys' units are doing. I know a lot of you guys got hit hard with a lot of these oracles that came out. And just a heads up, the planner isn't fully up to date with all of these oracles, right? You can click on them and you can highlight them to see where your things are, but as far as the earning potential, it's still not fully updated. So keep that in mind if you are thinking of adding one. But again, with these things, it's location, location, location. So make sure you do understand that. Okay. So again, guys, let me know how your guys are doing. Did you guys get hit hard? Let me know kind of the outcome. Keep me updated there, guys. Please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. Thank you for watching, and I am out.